Alright, so here's our next video. We are doing the addition of integers. So this problem, and I'm going to show you this with some techniques here first. We're going to show you this with chips. This problem is -3 plus 2. And if we look here then, if I grab these two chips, they'll cancel out with those two chips, meaning that I'll just have one negative chip. And I'm sorry, I forgot to explain. The yellow chips are positive, the red chips are negative. So again, this next problem, yellow chips are positive, red chips are negative, but if you look, we're doing -4 plus -3. Well, all we do then is just group these three together with those four, and that tells us that these had the same signs, and the sum was -7. Let's take a look at the next one. So this time around, we have +5 plus -3. So if we take these three right here and pair them up with those three right there, those all disappear, and our answer is +2. So we had different signs. We had a +2. Over here, we look, and what we can see is that we have +7 plus -7. And if we take all of our negatives and put them over with our positives, we see that they would cancel all each other out. And so again, we have different signs, but our answer here will be 0. And this next one, we have the same sign, and it's 2 plus 4. And if we gather our 2 on this side together over here, we can count up and we have +6. So these were all the same sign, and the answer is +6. In this one, again, we have the same sign. This is -6 plus -2. And so if we gather these 6 together and throw them over here, we can see that we'd have -8. So that's the same sign and -8. With this, we're going to grab our negatives, and they're going to cancel out with some of the positives right there. And so we can see that we had -5 plus 9. We had different signs. And left over, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the sum of -5 and 9 is +4. In this case, we have 15 positives. We're adding to that 9 negatives. So if we look, if we grab hold of our 9 negatives and drag them over, we're going to be left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positives. So we had different signs again, and the sum of them is 6. In this case, we have +10 and -10. Oops. And so if we bring those together, we can see that all the yellow chips have a matching partner with the red chips. So that means that we have different signs, and they wind up being 0 as a sum. In this case, I need to change something real quick, because the problem that I have in the book is right here. Gotta wait for the computer. Sorry about that. Well, it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. All right, so clone. There we go. So over here, we have -6 plus -6. These have the same sign. So if you notice, our answer is going to be negative, and putting 6 and 6 together gives us 12. This last one, there's 13 positives and 13 negatives. And we're adding them together, and these have different signs. And so that gives us 0, because when we move all these over, each one has a match with the other color, and so because of that, we can say that the answer is 0. So this is the demonstration using some chips. I'm going to go to the notes that I wrote out today. These are the exact same problems that I just discussed or just showed. And what I want to do then is I want to discuss the outcomes of these things. A sum will be positive. The sums were positive if both numbers are positive, or if the positive number is bigger. A sum will be negative if both numbers are negative, or if the negative number is bigger. And when I say bigger, I mean that it's further away from 0. And then a sum will be 0 if both numbers are opposites. Another way to think about this is the following. Two integers with the same sign. The sum will keep the sign. In two integers with different signs, the sum will be the same as the bigger number. And again, bigger means further away from 0, which means absolute value. And then two opposite integers, the sum will be 0. Let's look at this on a number line. 4 plus -4. I start off at 0, and I move 4 to the right because that's positive 4. Then we go the other way. We start off at 4, but we're going to go back 4 because it's -4. And if we look then, the sum of 4 and -4, we wind up back at 0. So 4 plus -4 equals 0. Let's do it again. We start off at 0. We go -1. Then, continuing onward, we go from -1, we go back 3 units, 1, 2, 3. And so, oops, that should be a -1. And so if we see here then, our answer is we end up at -4. So -1 plus -3 is -4. This next one, we start off at 0. We go back 1, 2 for -2. Then we move 6. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that means that we end at positive 4. So the sum of negative 2 and 6 is positive 4. So adding integers with the same sign. When you add integers with the same sign, let's say negative 3 plus negative 4, we add the absolute value of the integers, then use the common sign. But a simpler way of saying this is same signs, add and keep. So 3 plus 4 is 7, and since both of these were negative, the answer is negative 7. Likewise, if I do 3 plus 4 equals 7. And it's positive because both these numbers are positive. Then, adding integers with different signs. Subtract the lesser absolute value from the greater absolute value, then use the sign of the integer with the greater absolute value. That can be simpler said as different signs you'll subtract, use the sign of the bigger number, and then you'll be exact. So if we take 4, sorry, my computer's running a little slow here, 4 plus negative 3, then these have different signs, so we'll subtract them. 4 minus 3 is 1, and because 4 is bigger, this will be positive 1. Whereas if I do negative 4 plus 3, that's going to give me different signs. So we go 4 minus 3, which is 1, and because 4 is bigger than 3, we'll have negative 1. And then just as a special case, the sum of a number and its additive inverse, or opposite, is 0. And we've seen that because negative 5 plus 5 is 0. Algebraically speaking, we can say A plus the opposite of A is 0. A good thing for you to do would be to stop for a moment, stop the video, and see if you could do these problems on your own. Don't worry, I'll wait. Well, hopefully you tried these on your own. I'm going to make sure that you have them correct by sharing with you my answers. These two numbers have the same sign, so we'll keep the sign. It'll be negative. 4 plus 2 is 6. These two numbers have the same sign. The same sign is positive, so it'll be positive 20. These two numbers have the same sign, and that sign is negative, so our answer will be negative. 8 plus 5 is 13. These two numbers have the same sign. The sign is a negative, so our answer will be negative. And 2 plus 15 is 17, so we have negative 17. These two signs are different, so we will subtract. 10 minus 5 is 5. Because 10 is bigger, this answer will be negative. Negative 3 plus 7 has different signs, so we go 7 minus 3, which is 4. And because 7 is bigger, the answer is positive. Negative 12 plus 12, because they're opposites, because they're different signs, we subtract. 12 minus 12 is 0. Please notice that these are opposites. These two numbers have different signs, so we'll subtract. 11 minus 2 is 9. Because 11 is bigger, we keep the positive sign. These two numbers have different signs, so we subtract. 10 minus 9 is 1. Because 10 is bigger, we will keep the negative sign that's on the 10. These two numbers are opposite, so therefore their sum is 0. Hopefully this video helps you to understand how to add integers. Please email me with any questions. Thank you.